Welcome to another video from Lockdown Electronics with me, Bill. This time we're going to look at a few more circuits from the Science Fair kit. I did mention I might do another video, and quite a few of you commented that you'd like to see that. So I've had a good look through the manual, and I've decided I'm going to try and do this logically, if you'll pardon the pun. There are actually several examples of logic gates in there, so I'm going to try and build some of those. And obviously I'm filming this having recorded the rest of the video, and so I'm able to see into the future, and I can tell you now that it wasn't entirely straightforward, but that's probably partly due to the age of the kit. However, it's been an interesting exercise. So we've got three circuits we're going to look at, so let's start with the first and see how we get on. The NOT gate then. Here's the scan from the manual of the Science Fair kit. They very helpfully provided us with a truth table and the symbol there for a NOT gate, which is good. I think nothing changed on that front. So we've got a couple of transistors driving an LED, fairly straightforward circuit, and we've got the very high-tech flying lead to take it between high and low on the left hand side there. Now in this case high and low is 9 volts. Of course these days convention would be 5 volts, but it doesn't matter for this circuit point of view. The principle is exactly the same. So hopefully we'll be able to see that when input is high, output is low, and vice versa. Now just a quick reminder before we look at all the circuits: the 2SB, which it's marked on there as, is the 2SB56, which is a PNP germanium transistor. The 2SC is a 2SC711, that's NPN silicon, and the diodes are 1N60, which is germanium. So we've got some retro silicon, but we've got some proper retro germanium. Right, let's go and have a look at that on the bench. Okay, here's the circuit built on the 75-in-1 board, and I've used just a collection of random bits of connecting wire, so apologies if it looks a bit of a mess. I don't know how that one's crept in, that's not supposed to be on there at all. So I've got the circuit set up exactly as per the diagram we've just had a look at, and currently I've got the input, if you like, tied to the positive rail, so it's tied high. The LED is here, so if I take it low, the LED comes on. If I take it back to high, the LED goes off. So it's on and it's off. Now I'm not entirely convinced that you can actually see that, so by the magic of Venetian blind, let's just lower the lighting a little bit, and so that's tied high and that's tied low. You can see the LED is indeed lighting, but we'll go back to a level of lighting so that you can actually see the board. But I thought to myself, before I actually thought of making the room darker, I thought, oh, I need to I just want to check the voltage on that, so I'm just going to tie this high again for a moment, so we've got both hands available. Like so. So it's tied high, LED's off. So one thing we could do is we could measure the voltage across that LED. So let's put a couple of little slightly more modern clips onto either side of the LED there, like so. And you didn't think I was going to use a fancy digital meter, did you? Let's make use of my rather nice Archer kit multimeter, which has appeared in previous videos. So currently it's saying 0 volts across there, so let's now take it high. LED has come on, and as you can see we're on the 2.5 volt scale there. So if you want to, that's come up to about 1.75 volts. So back low and it pretty much goes down to 0, and high up to about just, well, almost 2.7 volts, something like that, which hopefully shows the circuit in action properly. And rather excitingly now, we've got the AND gate, which is light controlled. Here's the circuit again from the Science Fair manual. Very straightforward. We've got the solar cell, which generates a voltage, the CDS cell, which of course is a light controlled resistor, and feeding the base of the transistor, and the relay coil is acting as the load, so we don't really need much more. Very minimalist circuit, and theoretically, I'll say theoretically as it'll make more sense when you've seen the bench footage, theoretically that when the solar cell and the CDS cell have light on them, there should be sufficient voltage for the relay to be energized, and the lamp should light. So let's go and have a look at that on the bench. Here's the circuit of the light operated AND gate then. So we've got two cells, the photovoltaic and the CDS cell here, connected in series, feeding the base of the transistor, which is connected across the 9-volt supply. That's 9 volts here, and I've got 3 volts here. That output from the collector of transistor goes to drive the relay coil, and then the relay contacts simply switch on and off the 3-volt light bulb. So theoretically, with light falling on both sensors, that bulb should be on. And if I just try covering them up, the bulb should go off, but as you can see, there seems to be nothing happening, and certainly I can't hear the relay coil working. Now I suspect it's got nothing to do with my wiring or the principle of the circuit, but it's got everything to do with this solar cell being somewhat past its sell-by date. So let's bring in the legendary Archer-Kit meter, and let's just measure what's going on across the relay coil. So I'm going to put the negative there and the positive there, and I've got it on the 2.5 volt scale, so you can see it's swung across there to about 1.5 volts. Now if I cover up the CDS cell, that definitely drops, yeah, and if I cover up the solar cell, that also drops. And then if I can get both hands to do this, drops a little bit more, but not very much, but of course there's not very little power coming from the solar cell to make any difference there. But certainly, yeah, that definitely makes a difference, as does that. So I suspect it's this solar cell that is the problem. Simply isn't enough power to drive the circuit. Certainly the bulb is working, and if you energize the relay directly from 9 volts, it lights the bulb. So there we go. I think I'm just a victim of it being rather old there, but the circuit certainly should do its job were this solar cell to still be working. So there you go. The NOR gate then, once again, circuit from the Science Fair handbook, and it's a combination in a way of some of the previous things. So we've got a pair of transistors driving an LED, and then the two diodes there, which can either be taken high or low using the flying leads, and we've got the NOR gate symbol and the truth table as well, which nothing has changed there. But just a quick reminder, of course, logic high and low on here will be 9 volts, whereas convention these days is 5. Okay, let's look at that on the bench. Okay, and finally here's the circuit of the NOR gate, which actually is quite similar to the first NOT gate we looked at, but it's got a extra resistor and an extra diode, a little bit like the NAND gate we've just looked at. So I'm just going to switch the bench lighting off so that you can actually hopefully see the LED. Currently I've got both inputs tied high, so it's a NOR gate, so in all circumstances I'd expect the output only to be high when both inputs are low. So they're currently both high, so let's make one of them low. Doesn't make any difference, and let's make both of them low, and you can see the LED has come on. Just put shade the light there, you can see it on. Pretty sensitive circuit this actually. If you leave the inputs floating, that'll also send it high, so just emphasises the old thing about keeping those inputs tied somewhere, otherwise you get erroneous results, which of course still happens with modern circuitry. So okay, so that's one high and one low, and that's both low, and we get a high output. So that's NOR, and it's conforming to the truth table. Well, there you go. Interesting stuff. I'm sure that back when that kit was first produced, the photovoltaic cell would have been producing more voltage, and I'm sure that AND circuit with the light control would have worked fine. Sadly, all these years later, unfortunately not. But hey, there you go. We were able to verify with me vintage Tandy multimeter that it was at least doing the kind of thing we might expect, if not the exact result. But yeah, interesting. And of course, couldn't possibly have thought back then the impact that digital electronics would have on the world. So well done Science Fair for including those projects in the kit. Hope you've enjoyed that. Maybe I'll do some more. I'll see if people have got an appetite for that in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Look forward to seeing you on the next video.